with Silicon Valley companies, being introduced to Bill Gates and Steve Jobs in those late 90s when they were first infants as organizations and companies. And over the years, as technology has taken over our world, Reverend Jackson wanted to re-engage with a great strategic approach and a desire to connect with Silicon Valley so that there would be a reality of pipelines and opportunities for our people, for those that would be left out, underserved, and underrepresented. And he has done a phenomenal job of opening the doors of Silicon Valley, opening the doors for jobs and positions and what has now become diversity and inclusion. All of that evolving reality is really because of the great work and the voice of Reverend Jackson. And I'll never forget, on one of his trips to the Bay Area, he said to me, "Reverend, I'd like to make sure that our community is not forgotten in all of this. We need to use some of those empty Sunday school spaces during the week and teach kids how to do coding and apps and different things like that." And from there, we began to build what has now become our Faith Tech Initiative and Connected Churches. And that's why we're here tonight. We welcome so many of you that have been a part of this process. We thank God for all of our organizations that have engaged with us over the years, all of the wonderful companies that have been a part of this process. Now we're able to introduce you to Connected Churches as a platform. Some of you have seen this as we were able to introduce it over the past several years. We had a Jesse Jackson Fellows program to begin to pilot this program, and then Google allowed us to partner with them to build it out into this current format, which is now so critical, because little did we know years ago when we were developing this platform that we would be confronted with Corona-19 and we'd be at this place where we need technology like never before. So thank you for joining in tonight. We want to be able to cover a lot of groundwork in a short period of time. And we know your time is valuable. And I'll let you know now that even as we wrap up this time, we're going to make sure that you know that we're here for you to connect directly with you. At the end of the time tonight, we're going to give you a chance and you'll be able to sign on to have a direct appointment. You'll be able to have your church meet with our specialists, those that are presenting tonight, those who have the information and those who have the expertise, because everyone's in a different place. Everyone has different goals, but we want you to see the bandwidth of what Reverend Jackson has made available in this wonderful, wonderful platform known as Connected Churches. And so it's my privilege now. We're going to have a few opening remarks. First of all, from our 1,000 Churches Connected leader, Bishop Tavis Grant, who's going to give a greeting and an opening prayer. Then we will hear from our Senior Vice President of the organization, Dr. Todd Yeary, who will introduce our founder, Reverend Jackson, and we will continue to proceed in that order. Bishop Grant, in your hands.
Well, good evening and welcome, everyone. This is sure to be a very exciting and very engaged encounter. And we want to thank Bishop Bryant and his staff there in Silicon Valley for all of their hard work, along with Butch Wing. Of course, our national office in Chicago is second to none. This is such a critical hour, and the technology and platforms and the various forms of innovation that will be shared with you tonight will be certainly beneficial to your work and your service in the communities in which you serve and make a difference. Having said that, let's have a word of prayer. Our Father and our God, we thank you for this national gathering tonight across the country, this afternoon and evening, and we thank you for the leadership of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson and our national staff. We ask that you would use these tools as only you can to empower us, equip us to make a difference and be agents of change in communities and cities all over this country. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Thank you, Bishop Bryant.
Thank you so much. Dr. Yeary, if you would kindly give us a few opening remarks, please. Always a pleasure to have you on. Dr. Yeary is doing a phenomenal job just with his hands on so many of the things that Rainbow Push is doing now, being a great extension of the vision of our leader, Reverend Jackson. And so, Dr. Yeary, we would love to hear from you just a word of greetings tonight as we get off into our Connected Churches program.
Well, good evening, Dr. Bryant, and to all of you who are joining tonight, wherever you are. The ability to have this convening in the age of COVID-19 is due in no insignificant part to the role of technology. Technology in the age of COVID-19 is no longer a luxury. It's not just a resource for those who can afford it. It is a lifeline to vital information and the ability to continue to function in a time when we can no longer physically come into one another's presence as we have been accustomed to doing. And so as we have this conversation tonight, your organizations, your churches are actually anchors and facilitators to address a few key questions. One, how do we communicate with our constituents and remain viable? How do we educate our children and young adults when distance learning is now not the alternative, but the norm? How do we inform about resource availability when we're recognizing that families and individuals have been stressed in terms of their ability to survive and thrive in the age of COVID-19? How do we address the public health challenges that face our communities, and how do we protect voter access and engage communities around accurate census taking? All of these are vital questions that affect all of us. It's happening in real time. And so tonight's discussion will focus on how we are able to support and partner with you and your congregations as a resource, but how to make sure that we do not use the difficulties of the pandemic as an excuse not to fully engage. So we hope that you will take this information to heart, that we will continue to stay connected. And Dr. Bryant, we thank you for your leadership, and we thank Reverend Jackson for his vision. And so with that, I look forward to tonight's conversation and working with all of you in the days to come. Thank you, Dr. Bryant.
Thank you so much. And it is always a privilege and an honor to introduce our iconic, legendary leader who means so much to all of us and avails himself to us. It's because of his vision that we are here and this program has existed as he continues to open doors, make ways, and provide opportunities for those in greatest need. He did never want to forget the local church, the family of faith, the family of God. And so here we are tonight as a result, Reverend Jackson, of your great efforts, and we're just continuing to build on your shoulders. So we thank you for the opportunity. And now we will hear some opening remarks from our leader, Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson.
Reverend Joe, do you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
How's everybody on the phone tonight, on the Zoom? Let me express, some years ago, around 1966, when Dr. King was taking on the Vietnam War and there was attempts to destroy him in 67, he would go to a given city and the church be half full. The press wouldn't show up and were undercutting him. It occurred to me, Reverend Brian, Reverend Year at that time, if we could get 20 churches and 50 maybe 1,000 churches. Demonstrations come and go. We've seen big demonstrations season after Floyd's death. But churches have a way of staying. Stable leadership. Leadership is led by the people, bottom up. Churches will survive this struggle. Some organizations may not. Some businessmen, the church will survive this. So the idea of getting 1,000 churches in 50 major markets, in 20 major markets, 50 markets, was an idea. And you've taken it to a great conclusion, Brother Bryant. Let me say this to you. The idea was if you have 1,000 churches in 50 markets, on a given day, if they're going to take on automotive industry or take on the athletic industry, they have the capacity to do so. Now, we want to do two things tonight, Brother Joe. One of them is that the idea of churches and hooking them up so that they'll be able to be more efficient in their work. The thing we're doing as this COVID-19 is upon us, our children for the people. LSU last year's champion, 30 tested positive already. Clemson 27 positive. The areas where the most football is played in the South, where they rejected affordable health care. They so called it, they're on Obamacare, they run past affordable health care. So the kids' parents don't have insurance. They don't have health care. They come to the neighborhoods where you have the most insured people, the most unemployed people, highest death rate of people. So we've taken the position early on that the NCAA take a look at not having the season. What we're doing, however, Dr. Furlow's on the phone, pull together, help of Reverend Year, 14 different medical organizations. We want them to take the lead on the medical reason why the kids should not jeopardize their lives this fall. I want Dr. Ferrola to say something about it. We want to support the doctors. We're trying to have a press conference Thursday. So if we can do it about that, we should. Our idea, Bishop Grant, is that if the National Medical Association, the Spanish Indians, and all that, if they say they should, we support them. It puts us, I think, in a very strong position. Plus, it allows us to. NMA leaders should be on television explaining this. Here were black doctors that, since talking about black boys, black doctors have something to say about this on television. Dr. Ferrola, these brilliant doctors, we're trying to create a platform there. Dr. Ferrola?
Yes, Reverend. Just to underscore the point that you're making, it's unfortunate because a lot of the people that are going to be placed in harm's way with all of these events, premature reopening, reactivation of sports, placing athletes in harm's way, these are mostly Black and brown bodies that we're talking about. And many of them, when you think about schools, are already marginalized. So they're already lacking in many of the resources that they would need for optimal health. And then we're going to unnecessarily place them in additional harm's way by requiring them to be compliant and to return to school. So I think the points that you're raising are good ones, and I look forward to us unpacking them further in the education forum.
Thank you so much.
We're very sorry to express, but I think that Joe Brown, you're in charge now. We thank you for laying the plan out, and we support it. We will follow up, Joe, between now and tomorrow on the medical dimension. It's not a Matt Dugal on yet, by the way. We're trying to get Dr. Matt Dugal on. We're trying to have a meeting with our medical
He's going to
division.
meet with us. He's going to meet with us tomorrow, and we hope Dr. Verholden and Dr. Yeri will coordinate a time with your schedule, and then we'll send a message out to all of the clergy.
Okay. Dr. Bryant?
Yes, sir, Reverend. Thank you again. We appreciate you, and we appreciate the opportunity to serve in this way. And thank you for the information in and around the health of our students, our young people, and really Reverend Jackson's heart is so huge, and he's always thinking about the least of these and those that are always being put in harm's way and those that are being forgotten about. A lot of things happen in our world, and as he mentioned, the church is still such a cornerstone, a voice, a place of safety and trust, and really that's how we were able to build connected churches. Just, technology has taken over our world, and even prior to COVID-19, we wanted to make sure that seniors could learn all about this technology. And Reverend has been just so excited to hear about the seniors in churches around the country learning how to go online and have Facebook pages and text their grandkids and things of that nature. And then, of course, young people doing app development, young adults being able to get jobs, and general adults just being able to engage. So tonight, we're going to give you a high-level overview of what we have put together with this toolkit, with our platform. So many different resources. We could never give all of the information in a deep dive, but we do want to hear a snapshot of it tonight. And as I shared, we will then be able to set up a time with your ministry, your church specifically. And let me just say this to you, as a pastor of over 24 years, I understand that we did not go to school for technology. We went for theology. And so much of what is going to be said what is going to be said tonight is not part of the breakdown of homiletics and hermeneutics and our biblical understanding of things. It has a depth, though, that will bless not only our preaching and our ministry to our members from a theological perspective, but we'll be able to communicate, connect with them, especially during this critical time. And so without further ado, I'm thankful for those members of our team that are on this evening. Charlene Lawson, who is the administrator of our Push Tech 2020 office. Also, Minister Dallas Finzi, who's based here in Silicon Valley as well, who's done an amazing job being able to assist churches here throughout the state, really, and then doing digital trainings as well. And then our primary presenter, who's going to work along with Minister Dallas tonight. Many of you have seen her. She was originally a digital fellow. We had our Jesse Jackson original digital fellows, and she was one. And then Google wanted to expand the program, and we insisted that she would be kept on board to build out the program. And there she was for 2 years with Google with us. And now she is a part of the Rainbow family. And so we're just excited to have her wisdom, her insight as a digital specialist. And now she's going to present to you our Connected Churches program. Here she is, Minister Anita Lee. Take it away, Anita.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you so very much. Good evening, everyone. I want to give honor and obedience to God, who is the head of my life. I want to thank Reverend Jackson and the Rainbow Push family for giving me this opportunity to serve in this very unique capacity. I am so excited to be with everyone here today to talk about this wonderful resource that we have put together and worked in and worked on and worked for several years, and to be able to bring it on the major platform. I'm so excited. I also do want to reintroduce my partner in crime or partner in faith, Minister Dallas Fincy, who's going to be my technical advisor as we move across all of the wonderful features of this program. And so what you're seeing on the screen right now is the logo for our Connected Churches program. It is powered by Google in a partnership that was created by Google back in 2016, 2017, and 2018. Next slide. So I want to talk a little bit about the goals of Connected Churches. The first goal was to make church a place of opportunity. We want people to be able to come to a place where they know and trust and learn and grow their digital skills. The thing that we're all talking about is the fact that technology is not going away. Not only is it not going away, it is a vital institution that we have to have in order to survive in the 21st century. And we understand that with the digital divide, we don't have that opportunity for everyone. So we want the church to be that place of opportunity. Also, the goals of Connected Churches to provide local churches with tools, resources, and capabilities to maximize their effectiveness in all their ministry areas and utilizing the benefits of technology. Basically, we want you all to integrate this vital technology into the operations of your church. Make it part of your church DNA. And we have put together free resources that will allow you to do that seamlessly and professionally. And also, the Connected Churches program is to link tech to the faith-based civil rights legacy. We want to create a positive brand through a national campaign led by Rainbow Push and the wonderful Reverend Jesse Jackson. This campaign is to highlight the tech industry's commitment to closing the digital divide, as well as Rainbow Push's commitment to pushing the digital divide. And then we want you, the church family, to understand your role and to help build your capacity in that role in closing the digital divide. Next slide. So I want to give you all a little context. We're talking about this digital divide and digital inequity, and we're thinking about our students, we're thinking about our kids, we're thinking about our seniors. And so here's a few numbers that, for those of us that appreciate visuals and numbers, that talks about the current statistics that are happening right now today. And the fact that 46% of Black American households do not have broadband internet in their homes. So in order for you to be able to be a part of the digital inclusion revolution, you have to have broadband. We know now that most jobs have to be applied for online, but 56% of those jobs actually require some level of computer or digital skills. We're thinking about COVID-19 and our children having to go virtual within a matter of days, but yet 12 million of our students across the country do not have internet or computer at home. We think about our seniors, and that a lot of our seniors are getting smartphones and tablets. And what I found when I've taught many seniors is that most of the time their kids or grandkids have given them this piece of technology and they have it, but not necessarily know how to use it effectively. And this last statistic that I just found is that 53% of Americans says the internet has been essential during this COVID-19 crisis. And I would surmise to say that 100% of Americans needed technology during this pandemic. And so once again, this program, which was conceived before COVID-19, is to help churches become that place of opportunity and that place of knowledge and learning. Next slide. So presenting now is a little snapshot of the content that our toolkit and website provides. Since this was a Google-powered project, most of the tools are based on the Google platform. The great thing about the Google platform, as far as productivity and connectivity and communication, most of all of their resources are free to the public and to your church. All you need is a Gmail address, which is why I have the Gmail highlighted here. It is so important that we have email addresses, particularly Gmail. And one of the things that we will help you do and assist you with doing is not only assisting you with creating your Gmail, but if you already have a Gmail, we can assist you with using your Gmail in optimum fashion, and also assist you with learning how to use all the other different tools that Gmail and Google opens up to you once you have that free email. What I want to be able to also say while we're having this is that if you have any questions, please go ahead and put it in our Q&A in our chat. And at the end of the presentation, we will answer a few of your questions with the time that it's allotted. But this is an amazing, amazing platform. And we have been able to take those lessons and concentrate it in one place so that you can learn and grow your church, your ministry, your staff, and your community. Next slide. So this is also another brief snapshot of what the Connected Churches program is providing for you. You can get one-to-one support from the specialist, myself, and Minister Dallas, and other professionals at the Rainbow Push Silicon Valley office will be available to you in order for you to build your capacity and do some knowledge. We can do train the trainer workshops. Obviously, right now, in the time of COVID, those will be virtual, but this will allow you and me and us to help you learn these things if you don't already know them. Now, if you already have a good capacity for all of these tools, we want to assist you with taking your ministry to the next level and be able to teach the congregation in your church. And if your congregation in your church is pretty tech savvy, well, then we want to assist you with taking your ministry to the next level by providing consistent and relevant classes that you can teach the community at Broad. Like we said, we want the church to be that place of opportunity because unfortunately, we can't give everybody free internet and free laptops. But what we can do is give them a place where they can learn and enhance their lives. And we can also provide limited technical assistance. And I'm going to say that's going to be for mostly my counterpart, Mr. Dallas. So at this time, we're going to take a few moments to actually hop on our Connected Churches website so you can look at it live and take a look at those different things. And so I want you all to know that this is a passion project for me. This is part of my purpose. This is my God-given purpose. So I come to you as a woman of faith and a woman with a a love for the community. And I appreciate any questions or comments. I know I have a couple of professionals maybe logged in, so we are open to adding to our knowledge so that we can bring this resource out to different communities and churches. So this is our toolkit. This is our Connected Churches toolkit. And it was, like I said, was created by our partnership with Google. And it was an idea from Reverend Jackson. As Pastor Brian explains, Reverend Jackson understood the need for African Americans to be a part of this technology revolution. And so we have presented and created this toolkit over the last few years and presented it, promoted it, preached it, and even pushed it, pun intended, to denominational conferences. We've given this to district denominational conferences. We've also presented this at many Rainbow Push summits, as well as several Rainbow Push international summits and workshops and conferences. And so this is, a fantastic free resource. And in the time of COVID, it is almost essential. And so as we scroll down, these are some of the links and things that you will be able to access when you hop on to our website. The toolkit is downloadable. So you can actually click on download the toolkit and you can actually save that on the device. I know some of us still like paper and pencil. I personally still like paper and pencil. So the fact that it's downloadable is very convenient to me so that I can read on paper and not necessarily a screen. And so that is accessible and available to you free of charge. We want to go to this I want to section, which is phenomenal because it actually breaks down specific things that churches may want to do or use in this technology. And we're going to go and click into one of them, which is I want to create videos at church. And so when you click on this, this goes to the amazing technology that is YouTube. I know some of you are watching and listening to us live on YouTube, and we appreciate you taking the time to give us your time. And so YouTube is an amazing technology that will allow you to upload videos of your church services online. You not only can stream live services, you can also upload those services and then allow people to come and watch them at a later time. It is free to have your YouTube channel. And it doesn't take much energy to be able to set up live and streaming video. You can get with your AV team and create a page, create a channel. And then you will have a backlog and a archive of all your different sermons and preachings. Here's the deal. Back in the day when we had revival service or we had our Easter service, we would print them out on tapes and print them out on CDs and print them out on VHSs and all sorts of things. And now we don't really have to do that anymore. Now we can just stream live and you can save and have your film for years and years and years to come. If you want to take your YouTube to the next level, you can get it to the point where YouTube will pay you in order to have people watch your videos. And that's next level. But for the beginning, this service is open and available to you right now, this second. You can do this right now with your church family. And you think about your seniors or your sick and shut in who may not have the ability to come to the church. And of course, in COVID, no one is able to come to the church, or people are going back and forth as to whether or not they're ready to go back to church. And so this is a resource that will allow you to continue to spread the word of God, to continue to send out the love of Christ to your parishioners, to your congregation, to your members. And it's easy and it is free. So going back to the main page, I can show you, or we can show you, all of the modules that are available for you to learn different things. Each one of these are clickable, and it will give you a short introductory lesson into using all of these tools. The Bible app is a very important app for congregations and pastors. I love the YouVersion Bible app. It's probably my primary Bible. It allows you to be able to highlight scriptures. It allows you to be able to find lesson plans based on your scriptures. You're able to identify entire Bible school around the scriptures and the lessons that are available in this particular Bible app. This is one, there are others, but this one here is my favorite. And so this is, once again, free for you to use, for you to use as pastors and leaders, and for your congregations and your community. It is a greatly an amazing tool. Also, in those learning modules, you can also see where we have more of the Google platforms. Google Docs is an amazing feature that allows you to, say, type up your sermons or type up the agenda for Easter or pastor's anniversary or whatever it is that you need to do a doc. It's Google's version of Microsoft Word. And so the most amazing thing that I love about all the Google tools, including the SlideSlow presentations and the Excel documents, is they have a great collaborative feature so that you don't have to always have everyone in the room in order to make things happen. In the time of COVID, where we have to social distance, it'll be great if you can pull up a Google Doc and your minister of music or your vacation Bible school coordinator or your Sunday school coordinator, you all have the ability to hop on the same document in completely different houses and work on it in real time. How great is that for efficiency? How great is that? Because we don't want Sister Johnson, who isn't feeling well and can't come to the church. Now we can't figure out how to get the pastor's anniversary completed because she's sick. Yep, she can actually hop on and make notes live while everyone is talking together. And so we are here to help. We are here to let you know that we want you to have these tools. We want you to integrate these tools into your worship, into your operations, into your logistics, and into your ministry. And as I said before, if you are good with that and your church is good with that, we want you to take your knowledge and bring this knowledge to your community, to be that place where children who have to do homework and don't have a computer at home can come to the church and use your computers and the internet so they can learn how to code and have programming. And so going back to our slides, I want to let you know that this website, theconnectedchurches.org, is available to you. But one of the amazing things about theconnectedchurches.org, as if I have not told you enough amazing things, is that you can actually make an appointment to speak with one of the specialists. We want you to be able to contact us and set up a meeting where we will build your capacity, do a needs assessment to figure out what you need, and then assist you with either finding resources or building resources so that you can affect your ministry. This is ministry. This is just not this thing in the world. This is like radio, when radio was a thing and we had radio broadcasts, which we still have radio broadcasts. This is just like television, when television was an essential communication tool to spread the love of Christ. Now we have the internet. The internet now is an essential tool that the body of Christ needs in order to continue to spread the love of Christ and to bring opportunity to the community. So at this time, I'm going to punch it back over to you, Pastor, unless there's anything I could have forgotten, and I apologize if I have, that you wanted me to touch on.
You are as thorough as ever, Anita. Thank you so much. And you have done a phenomenal job again, giving a high-level overview of the Connected Churches program. And we do have a couple more things we want to share about the resources we are providing. Wonderful job. But I want to reiterate again and again that with all of these tools and this toolkit and all of the various learning modules and lessons and platforms that are a part of it, we don't want to just introduce this tonight and then leave you on your own. It was so important for us to give you a snapshot of the program and then invite you to connect with us, to take advantage of the fact that we want you to call us, email us. We want you to send us a message to info@connectedchurches.org and let us know how we can make your ministry stronger, better, more efficient. In this time of COVID especially, YouTube is important. It is so critical for us to be able to continue to preach the gospel, share the good news of Christ, and have members watch, have people watch. And I've had several pastors share with me that they didn't realize how wonderful the tool would be, because where they may preach to 50 in the building on a Sunday during normal circumstances, they're preaching to hundreds of people, in some cases thousands of people, through YouTube and other digital resources during COVID. And so God is using these resources to allow us to fulfill our ministry. And as we said, we've been blessed to stand on Reverend Jackson's shoulders to create these tools to make ministry more efficient through meetings and through email blasts and all the communication. We're also going to be sending out a questionnaire to you, just 4 quick questions for all those that registered for the town hall. We're going to send you out the questionnaire, and you answer those 4 questions so we can get a sense of what you need and what your needs are. And one of our specialists will follow right up with you. We want to begin in real time to begin to help make sure your ministry is maximized. Your ministry has everything that it needs. And if you're already doing well digitally yourself, as Anita said, then we can really be the church, and we can open our arms and open our doors to others, and we can create trainings for seniors in our community, or students in the community, or people looking for jobs in the community. And whenever God frees us to be able to open our buildings again, and we have 3 or 4 computers that we can use to allow members of the community to look for jobs again, to go back to whatever their needs may be. So again, this is a tool we want to make sure you got in your hands. One thing that we want to emphasize before we go to some Q&A that is not specific to the toolkit, because it's more of a specialization, and frankly, it's a resource that we wanted to be very respectful with and honoring with, and in the sense of making sure that we cover one another. We are looking to make sure you also are aware that even if we're not having church live in the building with a house full, people can still send their tithes and offering. Let the church say amen. People can still send their tithes and offering. One of the biggest things that was said to us at the beginning of the pandemic was, after asking the question, how are we going to have church? How are we going to have church? Once we got past that, Reverend Jackson put out a video for us to worship in place and shelter in place and be safe in our homes and allow us to preach, from a safety place. The next question we got most was, how are we going to give? How are we going to get people to pay their tithes? Well, fortunately, there are some wonderful resources out there to help you. I know some of you are already using them, but we wanted to introduce you to one in particular that will allow your ministry to do the 1-2 step giving, and just like that, money's in the bank. I mean, it is the best thing going. As a matter of fact, Rainbow Push organizationally, you'll see it on our broadcast, and when we do other things, that whole idea of text to give that Rainbow Push does, it says, text the word push to this. Well, guess what? We can do that for your church as well. We can help you set that up for your church. And so I want to bring on now to just share a little bit of insight on the Text to Give platform, our audio visual coordinator, who actually does an amazing job. She's a producer. She owns a production company, Shelenick Records. She manages musical artists and gospel artists all over the country, but she's also a member of our ministry and a member of our team to make sure that she can help us look good, sound good, and make sure the people can pay good. Amen. So we're going to have Rochelle Jennings share with us a little bit about Text to Give so we can learn a little bit more about making sure, after all these other wonderful gifts, we can make sure that the Lord's church is taken care of. The lights still got to go on, janitors still got to be paid, and we want to make sure that we are able to receive our tithes and offerings. So Rochelle, in your hands, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Pastor Brian. I appreciate it. Hello again to everyone that is here. My name is Rochelle Jennings, and I'm here to talk about the online giving platform, which is Text to Give. Text to Give, this platform is through Kindred Giving, and it is literally the simplest way and the easiest way to give. By giving, it's hands down the easiest way to give. You simply will text the desired amount you would like to give to whatever giving number that your church sets up. So on these slides here, this is what we use at Calvary Hill. And these are the 3 simple steps you do to set it up. So the first thing you would do is you would text the word give to the number. So if this is our giving number. So our number, you would text the word give to 415-230-2242. It will then send you a link for a one-time only registration. And once you go through that registration and you set up your card that you want to use, then you'll be in the fund that you want to give to, and then you press submit and you're done. So then what happens is when we first rolled this out, I told the members, once we have the giving number, to save that number in their phone. And all you have to do is, when you're ready to give again, you text the desired amount you want to give to that number and you press send. So now you're ready to give anytime, any place, and anywhere. You don't have to wait till Sunday. You don't have to hide it and put it away in your Bible or in your purse until Sunday comes. When you get the money that you want to give, you can give it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You don't have to wait. So when you set up these 3 steps with the giving number, all the person has to do is, again, just give the desired amount and the number and press send. When they press send and everything goes through, it will send you a text confirmation and an email confirmation. So all this is really a very simple and easy giving platform. Our church has been using it for a couple of years now. There's some other churches who have been using it, and the feedback that I have been getting from it is that they love it. It's great, it's simple, it's fast, and it's very easy to do. I know there's PayPal and there's others, but this one is just a simple putting the amount in and pressing basically send to that giving number, and your giving has been put in there. You can do other things with it. You can have keywords. We have a keyword for if you want to give for pastor's birthday or anniversary, that's pastor and the amount. Or if you have the building fund, you use building and the desired amount. And you can create all of these different keywords for your giving number. But to do the normal, how we do it, you just text the number, text the amount that you want to give to the giving number, and you press send, and you have officially given your tithes and offering to your church, which as Pastor stated, it does go directly to the church's account. So thank you.
Reverend,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Reverend.
I first want to thank Anita for such a comprehensive opening to get this off the road. Thank you, Anita, so much, my dear. And Sister Jennings, I wish that you would now walk through the rainbow process there. It's rainbowpush.org. How do we walk through our steps to give?
Yeah, Reverend. So I'm glad you said that. You set me up, make me look real good here. So the same idea that we're sharing with the churches is what Rainbow Push has been doing for years. And I'm not sure if we have that slide available right now. I know Rose has it somewhere close by. But if you all have seen any of the work we do, any of the broadcasts we do, conferences, we ask you to join Rainbow Push. But even in that joining a Rainbow Push, that is the same platform to give. And you text the word push, P-U-S-H, to 41444. So you text the word push, P-U-S-H, to 41444. And so, and then you will have the same opportunity that Rochelle was talking about for the churches. That's the way we do our interactions with Rainbow Push. And so even right now, we want to encourage you to, if you haven't already done so, you can put 41444 into your phone and text the word push. And then you're able to get into our database and you're able to give. And that is the exact same thing that would happen when we help you set up your text to give for your church. It's the exact same thing. And the reason we did not want to put so much information out publicly, because this is a more confidential matter, dealing with your church finances, dealing with your financial records, your accounts. We wanted to make sure that we could directly interact with you, Pastor, or your assigned person, and our team will be able to walk them through the process of setting up text to give for your church. But again, we wanted to make sure that we respected your confidentiality and your privacy. We didn't want to put so much out in public when it pertains to your monies and your accounting. And so in the same way as Reverend Jackson said, people give to push, you dial 41444 and text the word push. Then you get a response and it'll ask for your registration. And then it asks you, would you like to make a donation? It's the same thing that happens when you encourage members to use this resource for your church. So in the same way that we're asking you to send us an email or request or fill in the document, our questionnaire, if online giving is what you need, we will help you set up online giving. And we want to be able to do that professionally, cleanly, and talk to the right people and make sure that all of your information is remained private and confidential. And so once we give you a few steps for you to get your phone number going, then we can just turn it over to you and take it from there. And so, Reverend, that was a great point. Let me brag about my boss right quick since he's on the line. Let me talk about Keep Hope Alive, Reverend. Can I talk about Keep Hope Alive?
Thank you, sir.
I want to talk about Keep Hope Alive for a minute before we get to some more questions, Reverend. Let me brag about my boss right quick. You all know that Reverend is the quintessential speechologist of the last 60 years. And because of that, we want to make sure all of you have your copy of Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. We want everyone on the phone to get your copy. If you haven't already gotten it, get your copy. Or, pastors, let me switch my hat. I'm going from Rainbow Push to being a local church pastor. I ordered a whole box of books for my church. I want to make sure everybody got the Keep Hope Alive in their hands. And so I encourage you, Pastor, you should have your own personal copy. And please make sure that, you make this available to your church members, or in some way or form, you send them to Amazon. Tell them this is our leader. This is our John the Baptist herald. He's speaking truth to power in the wilderness. He's the one that's continuing to use his voice to change the world. And I love the fact that it goes all the way back to his earliest speeches and messages, and just to see the line of connections on how God has always used Reverend Jackson to be at the forefront of a matter even before everyone else caught up. And so to be able to read historically and look back at things from the 80s and the 90s and some of his international speeches as well, it is phenomenal. So let me encourage you, order your copy today of Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr. We're going to take a few questions. I know our chat has been filling up with questions, but I did want to make that announcement before we move forward. Reverend Jackson, we're going to take a couple of questions before we turn it back over to you, sir. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. So make sure you all, again, thanks to Minister Dallas, working behind the scenes, along with the phenomenal Rose Glenn from Push. She is amazing. She's just the bomb, I tell you. And then Anita for your presentation. And as Reverend alluded, Anita has been following us around. She's just been a blessing to us. And that's why we're so glad she's a part of the family now, because when she first came on as a Google fellow, a Jesse Jackson fellow through Google, we were just blown away by her heart, her passion, having her church experience and her digital experience combined. And she would come to our events and she'd say a few words about how valuable this was. And then Google's, as we evolved the program, she was used to help to build it out to what it is now. And so we're grateful for her. And then to come alongside her, Minister Dallas here in the Bay Area, who's an entrepreneur, who actually has his own marketing company and has been doing technology for years. He's been helping us here in the Bay Area, and now we're thankful that he's taken on a role as a digital specialist to help pastors and churches around the country. This is what we are here for, brothers and sisters. We are here to make sure that we're able to give you everything that you need. And even as you think about the text to give opportunity, I know a couple of the questions that came up. It is another free service. We're trying to offer you everything that we can that is not going to be of cost. There's a small percentage that is taken out as a transaction between, the Kindred organization and your bank. And so it's kind of like a transaction fee. Like when you go to certain banks, you got to pay you $2, to take out your $200, but you do what you got to do. And so there is a small percentage that is a part of the transactions, and we can walk you through that, but the actual service is free. Everything we're offering, as Anita so clearly put, is free. Anita, are there any other closing things that you want to give us before we shift over to some of the Q&A?
Well, as always, thank you, Reverend Jackson, for your love and support. And I appreciate this opportunity to serve. I say that every single time. Every day I wake up in the morning and be able to do this, it is basically my God-given purpose. And so I appreciate you for allowing me to continue to fulfill my purpose on this earth.
Thank you, Anita. Yeah, you've been amazing and a great gift to us, Anita. And now we're building it out beyond where we started, and let me say this as we're going to answer a couple of questions. Initially, Reverend Jackson's vision was for us to start and begin opening up this program in the Bay Area, where Silicon Valley is based, and then in Atlanta, because that has been our primary area for the 1,000 Churches Connected program. And so we did a lot of pilot programs in the Bay Area and Atlanta. And so several churches have had opportunities to see us evolve in the Bay Area and even in Southern California and in Atlanta. Then we were able to spread out a little bit, and we've done some programming now in Washington, D.C., in New York, and of course in Chicago, where our headquarters is. All of that connection has to do with where our satellite offices are. But the blessing of where we are now, brothers and sisters, is that we can do this for you wherever you are. And so we're no longer limited to just serving the cities where our satellite offices are, because this training was set up and the platform was set up to be able to help you digitally. And so we're glad to be able to do so. And one of the things that I wanted to just emphasize, and we're going to turn over to Dallas for a couple of questions, is the fact that we can train people in your church to be able to teach everyone else in your church. There are some folks in your congregation right now. I have the benefit of Rochelle Jennings, who is a genius, and she's able to make me look and sound real good because she knows everything. And I can say it and I don't know what I'm talking about, but she makes it make sense for me. And then she has others, you know, a lot of our young adults that work with her and help her, and she's mentored, have basically built out our technology and communications ministry in our church. And then they present to the rest of the members. And so if you have somebody in your church that's qualified, that's got this skill set, let us put the tool in their hands. They can go back to your leaders, to your staff, to your admin people, and then they can teach others. And so we are really big on train the trainer so that you don't have to bog down your calendar, and you know that it's going to be in capable hands to be able to spread to the rest of the congregation. And if your congregation gets to a point where it's being maximized, then we can share it with the greater community. Open your doors, as we do here in the Bay Area, to senior centers, to our after school program, and other things that we can do this programming with to help build out the digital needs so we can close the digital divide. Minister Dallas, are you there? Got a couple of questions?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Blessed to be here on the panel with you all. So we have our first question. It comes from Pastor Ware, and he wanted to know if Minister Anita, he addressed it to you, if you could discuss the features, collaborative features about Lyft and Uber, reserving rides and group rides for a few moments.
Dallas, where is Pastor Ware from?
It says here that Pastor Ware is from the Gospel Hours Radio in Albany, New York, sir.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Ware, for your question. So the lesson that's located on the website that talks about Uber and Lyft basically is teaching you how to set up an enterprise account. So for example, you are having your yearly revival or your big pastor's anniversary, and you're having your guest speaker, your guest pastor coming in to preach. It allows you to prepay for Lyft and or Uber ride for your pastor for transportation, so that you're not running around asking so-and-so, can you please go get Pastor Davis from the airport? That you can actually create a business account with Uber and or Lyft and be able to have prepaid rides and transportation, get your pastor from the airport to the hotel, and from the hotel to the church. Or it also allows you for nonprofits, where if you are providing different social services for your community, for instance, maybe job training or things of that nature, where your client or your parishioner needs some transportation, you can able to gift, if you will, Lyft or Uber rides in order to, get this mom and her children to the shelter, or maybe even get your senior to the doctor's appointment because no one else might be available to take him or her at that time.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
Dallas?
Great. Dallas, back to you, sir. Thank you. Any other questions we want to hit tonight?
Any other questions for us? Oh, here's one. The question is, where will this be shared? If you all go to Rainbow Push on YouTube, you will be able to view this town hall on Rainbow Push's YouTube account. Any more questions from anyone? We are here and happy to help.
Let me share a couple other pieces that I got. People are trying to hit me up directly on my phone. Dallas, are trying to circumvent the system here. So one of the questions had to do with the website. So yes, the website is available. It's theconnectedchurches.org as the website. Anita also referenced the Silicon Valley website. We have a full website for Silicon Valley. It's Rainbow Push SV for Silicon Valley, rainbowpushsv.org. And on that website, it shows the Connected Churches program. It shows our sports tech program. It shows our other push initiatives in and around diversity and inclusion, all the work. As a matter of fact, if you haven't connected with some of the things that Reverend Jackson has done, as I turn it back over to him, Reverend Wilson and Bishop Grant, on our Silicon Valley website, at the bottom of the page, there's some video clips of Reverend Jackson at shareholder meetings and other gatherings with tech companies to give his passionate appeal to them to open up Silicon Valley to underserved communities. And it's with precision and intent of impact that he just targets in these short snippets of 2 or 3 minutes the ability to articulate to these companies why it's important for them to open their doors. We've been consumers of Apple and Microsoft, but we want to become collaborators and partners and benefit from the programs that they offer. And so Reverend has helped us to, again, see jobs open and C-suite positions and management positions and donations given to HBCUs and supporting scholarship programs and all these wonderful things that have been a result of the work here through our Silicon Valley office. And so this program is just one of the many things that God has used Reverend Jackson to help to launch here. And as I mentioned, I've worked alongside with Butch Wing these past several years to put feet to the vision. And we have all of these things that are evolving and have evolved, the programs that we're doing with our communities, with small businesses, with minority companies, with the Black and Brown community, and of course, with this Connected Churches. So we thank you so much again for joining us for this call today. And we have on the screen our Connected Churches information, so you can shoot us an email. Our team members are available to you. We're going to make sure that we are available to answer your questions. We are going to send, as I mentioned, the questionnaire out to all of you. 4 simple questions on what you're currently doing, what you would like to do, when would you like to talk, and how would you like to connect? It's just that simple. We want to know how we can connect with you, and we're going to get to you in real time, connect with you, and make sure we can help your church, your ministry maximize its potential. It's important during COVID, and even after all this is over, we still want to be the best we can be for you, for your ministry, and for the glory of God. So thank you so much. I know that there are some closing things and other announcements about the work that we're doing with the faith community, Bishop Grant, as well as Reverend Wilson. If either of you would like to share those elements, you can before Reverend gives his final remarks. But again, let me thank my team. Let me thank all of you for your contributions. And again, Rose, for being amazing, Deshaun for the wonderful flyer and always giving us a good look. And Reverend Wilson, thank you for helping to ignite the conversation. Bishop Grant for furthering it and really emphasizing the importance of it. Thank you, Dr. Yuri, for making sure Rainbow Push continues to have this kind of relevance around the country. And of course, we thank Reverend Jackson. So Bishop Grant, Reverend Wilson, to either of you, and then we can hear our final words from Reverend Jackson. Thank you all again.
Well, Pastor Brian, really want to thank you and your team for this powerful introduction to our technology program and how churches can really connect. And what we would like to do is, at least on a quarterly basis, provide updates as others who are on this call and we communicate with other clergy, they can get connected to the resources that you're providing. We need churches to really sign up and be connected with us because we are doing so many different things. We're doing humanitarian relief efforts in light of COVID. We want to know, for example, what churches we can partner with in cities around the nation for our food distribution program. Who can we partner with to help build out our consumer army so that we can begin to help our businesses grow and expand? We have Black-owned restaurants all over the country. We need to be able to publish on our respective websites where they are, where they're located, what kind of restaurants they are, what products we manufacture, so that we can begin to do what we did back in the early beginnings of Operation Push, and that is keep a slice of bread in our community. Where are the African-American owned banks? And so that's why we're pushing this connected program. And then for our young people, it's really making sure that our congregations have the capacity to be an outpost for students, particularly those who are in elementary and high school in cities around the country. The church is one safe haven that students should be able to go to and have a supportive resource there to help them do this digital learning that they're going to be forced into in coming days and months as schools reopen. So I thank you, Bishop, and thank you, Reverend Jackson, for allowing us to take some part of our town hall meetings to just do some training.
Well, I cannot say enough about how engaged and thoughtful this presentation and this town hall has been today. And it only works if you use it. Reverend Jackson has taught us, we win when we fight, and we don't win unless we fight. And so part of our mobilization nationally is pulling leaders together like yourself, and then equipping you, empowering you to be very effective in reaching the communities that you serve. And so any additional information that we can provide for you, go to rainbowpush.org or reach out to us on any of our social media platforms. And of course, as long as we stay together, we're going to make it happen. Thank you, Reverend Jackson.
Bishop, let me express my thanks again to Joe Bryan and to Anita and to Jennifer who made the presentation. Let me say this to you. I miss Jet Magazine. Jet Magazine connected our family. We create our own jet on this internet business. Jet Magazine. I hope, Bishop, we'll have another Zoom next Monday night. That's a message we need to target Bishop to get on this call. Louisville, for example, 80% on the west side don't have internet at all, and that's where Cosby is. Yeah, that's the minister. Take Reverend Mark Ellis in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's some guys we need to target. We need to work hard to get the right guys on the phone. Okay, Bishop. Reverend Bryant.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, Reverend. We want to make sure we have the right allies, so we can definitely work on that this week.
The second piece is that we have with these demonstrations going on there in light of the death of Brother Floyd. I'm concerned when an organization is headless. Black Lives Matter is headless. It's intense, but it's headless. And therefore it's subject to be misdirected. We must put some content in the Black Lives Matter. For example, all focus on police behavior. Police should be civil. They should not be brutes and all like that. Some clans that dress up disguised as policemen, they're really Klansmen, they're nationalists. We know that. So later we've seen a lot on television about the people who are being killed and can't breathe and all that. My friends, the police is the epidemic.
Did we lose Reverend?
Did we lose Reverend Jackson? All right.
I think he's muted. I can see him if we can unmute his line. Whoever's got the control, can you unmute Reverend Jackson, please?
Are we able, or did someone mute his device inadvertently?
There he is. I think we almost did.
No,
Went back.
he's still muted. Now
there he is. Go ahead, Reverend.
All right.
All right. My point is that the focus has been on police behavior. That's the outer layer of our problem. Police are gatekeepers. Police patrol, those who control. Ultimately, so what does Black Lives Matter mean to Silicon Valley? Vertical and horizontal. What does it mean to Wall Street? What does it mean to automotive business? What does it mean to NCAA? What is it? We must now apply this science. We need you guys in for the long haul. I hope we will have another meeting next Monday because I really want to. There's some key people we need around the country involved in this. Brother Grant and Reverend Yuri, Mark Ellis and Louisiana, others who, if they catch on this thing, we can take our channel to another conclusion. Lastly,
Kevin, you have to unmute again.
1 second, I'm unmuting him.
Let me just jump back in and
Joe, you hear me?
yes, sir. We got you now, Reverend.
Yeah, it's jumping out. I'm saying that trying to get churches around the country. It's feeding programs. There are food banks everywhere. Some of us don't know how to access them. We know how to access them. And grocery chains, feeding and testing. And people testing, but this thing is killing us. The third thing, of course, is the census and registration. We have 4 more black Congress last Tuesday. We don't have a jet, we don't know it. 2 out of New York, 1 out of Virginia. So you 1 million in Montgomery, Birmingham, Selma. We're moving, and these positive reinforcement stories, our work is not in vain. So we focus on COVID-19 as well as the issue of our political empowerment season. I want to say this to you, we put 7,000 ministers together back a month ago, 5 or 6 weeks ago, how to access PPD. Taught them how to do that. And figure out a way to get that level of ministers back on the phone again, and teach them how to access Raymond Bush's YouTube channel, which we really cultivate. So I hope it's doable the next Monday night. Same time to have us another session with some some people we didn't specifically get on this phone call. Make sure it happens for and with them. Thank you very much.
Reverend Jackson, before we transition, Dr. Leon McDougall is on the line now. I know you've been trying to reach him as we have a conversation about convening later this week to highlight the issues and the disparities around intercollegiate athletics and also professional athletics. So I wanted you to know that Dr. McDougall is on. He is under Dr. Deborah Holden's login. So if you will just unmute him now, Reverend, so that you might greet him and then he might be able to greet you.
Dr. McDougall will be the next leader of the National Medical Association. Tomorrow there are 14 different organizations. We pull together, we want you guys to assume the leadership and checking out children from outside Oklahoma and Tulsa last week for that struggle. And the same people who don't want affordable health care, who don't, who Black Wall Street and all that, want kids to play ball. So we're going to take a major position on that. And Dr. McDougall, tomorrow when we mention as many of those 14 groups as possible, Dr. McDougall should be on the phone tomorrow. Dr. McDougall, say something to us.
Yes, I am on the phone. So, Reverend Jackson, happy to support where I can, and it would be helpful, perhaps too, if Reverend Wilson or Reverend Yeri could send me some additional background information so we can help you to speak truth to power. And so, yes.
Last week sometime, I did the column on athletics. I did another if you go to your Chicago Sun-Times now, editorial just another column tomorrow. For
I will
tomorrow.
send it to him, Reverend.
Yeah, we'll just send it to the columns, Reverend.
Everybody on the phone to get one, so that's some content in that. And
Well,
thank you, Dr. Furley, you were saying how many groups involved in that medical group now, Dr. Furley?
She had to go, Reverend. So we'll talk more about connecting with Dr. McDougall might be able to speak to that work in terms of standing up the scorecard in terms of that work. But there will be ongoing conversations about the public health manifesto and how it actually relates to those who are on this call tonight, pastors and community leaders who serve constituents that have been under-resourced and underserved in the age of COVID-19.
Dr. Grace, his son Kim, was on the phone. She was the editor of my book, Keeping Them Alive. I wouldn't have never done it had not been for Dr. Sam, part of our South Korean connection. We international. Dr. Kim, say something to us. You must get unmuted. Well, I see her. She's talking, but you can't hear her.
it's still muted.
I hear you, Doctor.
Dr. Kim, unmute your phone. Can we unmute her phone?
Okay. Yeah, hold on. Can
You're
you
there.
hear me now? Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for announcing the book. I appreciate that the churches are actually reading the book and using it in their Bible study. It is a digital book also, so people can actually get a copy of the ebook and share it. It will also become an audio book soon, I think in the month of July or August. And later in the year, it will also be a leather-bound, signed, limited edition copy. So it's a very exciting time. I'm hoping that more and more churches will be able to get the book and study the legacy of Reverend Jackson and see his contribution and how churches can follow, understanding where his sermons are coming from and his speeches. The speeches are from around the world. So I'm hoping that people will understand that Reverend Jackson's impact is not just here in the US, but globally. So in Asia, in Africa, Europe, and in South America. So it's a really good edition. So thank you, Reverend, for announcing the book, and hopefully a lot of churches would be able to study it as a group. And not only churches, there are seminaries and undergrad students in the HBCU colleges. We're hoping that everyone will get a copy, especially the younger folks, so that they will see where the legacy is coming from and how we can continue to fight against racism and against poverty, etc.
Dr. Grace, let me say in closing, I want to close out Dr. Yuri. Reverend Yuri is we're blessed. He has some leadership role in our struggle. He is a pastor of Douglas Memorial Church in Baltimore. He has a PhD, got a law degree last month. So he knows everything about everything. He's everything. We're grateful for him. We're grateful for you, Reverend Bishop Grant, who will be riding the circuit, connecting preachers to this call next week. And of course, you've done something very special for us, Joe Bryan, in San Francisco. We thank you. We need you. My friend Butch is on the phone, who will be retiring fairly soon. For all of us, we appreciate your work and your make this happen. And one sister didn't say anything. Why is she so quiet? Charlene? Say something.
Yes. Good evening, Reverend Jackson. How are you, sir?
That's an awful lot to say.
Well, I just want to say, since I have the opportunity, that I love supporting this team. I'm so proud of the work that they have done, which mirrors the leadership and work that you set out for us to do. And I just can't say enough great things about Dr. Bryant and his leadership. So I am one of those behind the scenes supporters who is really proud to be part of this group. And hopefully we can do more of this.
I wish all of you would become card carrying members of the Rainbow Push. I want to make sure you, Dr. Zeta and Jennings, rainbowpush.org, go to our website. And I want you to be members of the organization. We'll have strong consumer clubs. And for example, if we have a Cadillac dealership in the Bay Area, we should direct people to support our businesses. We need help, and you ministers on the phone and guests, please join Rainbow Push this week. And Joe,
yes, sir.
Monday, brother Joe.
We're gonna work on it. I've already been in touch with Reverend Wilson, and I'll follow with Dr. Yeri on the best window of time. We'll make it happen next week sometime, Reverend, definitely. And thank you for giving us an opportunity to continue the work that you've begun, and we want to just continue to make you proud. So God bless you, man. Thank you, Reverend. Dr. Yeri, you're going to close out with the word.
This July 4th obsession. We've been enslaved for 157 years when July 4th came. We were enslaved 12 more years before they got the Constitution. And during that time, they took me 3/5 human. We have no reason to celebrate July the 4th, 1760. July 4th, 1965 makes sense to me. July 4th, we were in slavery, had been for 157 years. And on to 1865, we were in slavery. So I don't know how we jumped up and down, eat ribs some as a holiday. America didn't start it started in 1619. We made cotton cane. The richest industry in the whole world at that time was cotton. And the war, the reason why America broke away from Britain is that America had become so rich, Britain wanted to maintain, they fought for independence. And then the war was fought about us, so we went deep in it. I want to make sure we taught in years and days to come, teach our people that we might know better. 1776 is July 4th. They asked President Douglas in 1852, won't you, President said, what does it mean to me? I can see it be captured. Indeed, as Dred Scott was captured 5 years later. So this is not just a day for frolic and rib, but a day to think through where we are. There's a connection between that season and where we are today. Do not forget that. So let's keep our eyes on the prize. Love you guys very much. Todd, close out, Todd.
Reverend, to that point, this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Central, there will be a town hall that will include elected officials, but it's focusing on the untold story, as Reverend Jackson has recently emphasized the need to partner between the African American community and the Native American community. That very often the issues that we are confronting are often the same, just contextually different. And so as part of the emergence of this work, this Saturday, Shelley Davis, our National Political Director, is helping to coordinate an important discussion on the untold story. The democracy that we claim as our own is actually borrowed from the Iroquois Nation, and it's been recorded in the Senate annals to be that way. And so it's important that we learn more about each other, and we're going to start that discussion this Saturday at the convening of our leader, Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr. You will continue to get updates on what our town hall programming will look like across a number of different subject matter areas. So continue to check us out on rainbowpush.org. And certainly I congratulate Dr. Joe Bryant for his leadership, for the partnership of the team members to make this town hall possible. Thank you for your investment of time with that, because the word I got is that Dr. Joe Bryant knows how to talk to the Lord and can get him to pay attention. I'm going to defer to the convener tonight, the facilitator of this conversation, Dr. Joseph Bryant, if you will dismiss us in prayer.
Preachers know how to say stuff to make stuff sound awful good, don't they? God bless you. Thank you all so much again. And make sure you email, make sure you send your messages so we can stay connected. Father, we thank you for this night. We thank you for this time. We thank you, God, for this opportunity. And we thank you for our leader, God, and for all that you've done through him, for his life, his leadership, his legacy, the impact he's had on so many, God. We are better people, not just here in America, but all over the world. Generations have been blessed because of his heart, his passion, his desire, his drive, his fire, Father God, to serve humanity, to uplift people, and to be a bridge for so many that needed opportunity and hope. And God, he has lived out the mantra of his own life. He has kept hope alive in so many areas. And so we thank you for this moment where we allow the digital realities of our world to become a resource to better ourselves for your glory. We thank you for every church, every leader, every pastor that has joined us tonight. May they be blessed in all of their endeavors. May they be kept and made continuously stronger. May they be healthy in this season, and may their churches continue to thrive despite the challenges. God, we thank you for the opportunity to serve them through this toolkit, through these resources. Thank you for the presenters, the speakers, the leaders, the producers of this opportunity, as well as our leadership at headquarters and abroad. God, we are here to glorify you and to honor you in all we do. So bless and keep us as only you can. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Love you all. Thank you again. God bless.
Really.